Hello folks, welcome back to Gelvin Valley map on Farming Simulator 15, created by Wild Wild Wes. We are kind of doing some evening harvest here of our canola in field 38. It's the last little bit of canola to harvest because we have a great demand and the price is highest now as it ever will be, at least while we have this crop. So I've sold everything in storage. I've been selling it straight out of the field, hauling it up here to market to dispense with it at the great demand. And I think we're just gonna make it. We have about one more hour of this great demand that's left. I'm hoping on this episode we'll get our way through field 38 and we'll be done with canola harvest. At least what we have of it. Looking forward to getting through the I love doing it. I love it. Ever since we installed that little mod to make all of our cars drive through, we still have the ambiance of cars, but no longer do we collide with them. And maybe some of you will say, well, that's not enough realism. But to that I would reply, if you want realism, let's make these cars go a whole lot faster on the road than what they currently are doing. And we'll talk about realism. So we're trying to bring in the harvest and get it done. So I'm once again climbing this hill up here to take this up to Gelvin Bio Oil to hopefully get a little extra money versus putting it in storage and hoping the price goes up later. Unfortunately, when the great demand started, the price of canola started tanking. So it would really be in the toilet if we didn't have whatever impact the great demand is having on it. Now in the last episode, I tried to start looking at my computer game library, which I know everybody has one. If anybody's watching this, they probably have games of their own and they got their own library. So one that I talked about was on the Civil War. And that kind of launched me into a philosophical question about some things, so I don't know, I guess that's just kind of how my mind works. Or doesn't work, as the case may be. Easily distracted onto something else. So not that anybody in here is clamoring to know what all I have in my game library. I'm kind of just enjoying looking at it, seeing kind of what I got back in the day, and some of it I wonder where it came from. I don't think I got all of these, but look at that. We are close to getting out of debt. Amazingly, this canola has really helped, because at the same time we also paid off a loan. That was a $35,000 loan, as I recall. And we also paid down our general bank loan another $100K. It just, yeah, kind of like I explained before, it took a bigger bite out of cash. It took cash I didn't have to pay it down, so I'm still not sure how that happened. Probably just a glitch with the Bank of Hagestead mod. But anyways, I'm heading back out to the field. I'm kind of looking at my library here, and I have this old cabinet, or rather my wife has this old cabinet that's kind of in my office here where I do this stuff. I suppose she thinks of it as hers, but she has allowed me to use the whole bottom drawer to store all my old games in there. Are you guys pack rats too? You know, when it comes to this, you know, some of these are expensive. You know, you can drop $50 or more even on some of these games. I know I put more than that into Farming Sim. You know, just buying updated versions, sometimes multiple versions, so I can play multiplayer with my kids. You know, putting on a couple computers, getting the DLCs over the years. I don't even know that I want to try to figure out how much I've spent on it, but I would say it's money well spent. So there's that. Whether or not my wife agrees, I don't know. But in any event, I take up the whole bottom drawer, just storing all my old CDs and stuff of games. Actually, some of them aren't on CDs, they're on older school yet. I think maybe I mentioned it on one of the previous episodes, on these 3.5-inch floppies. These things is like, oh, I remember when the 3.5-inch floppies came out, and it's like, wow, these hold a whole lot more than these other even larger size floppies. And my goodness, those things hold up pittance. I think those small floppies were, what were they? 1.5 megabytes? I mean, you can't hardly fathom it. That's so tiny anymore with the stuff that we do on computers. It would hold nothing. And I remember towards the end of the floppy disk era, you know, there were utilities. You know, you'd create a zip file and you could span multiple floppies, you know, with some file. And you'd have a file and it might take up 30 floppy disks. Well, goodness, you miss one in the middle, get them out of order or whatever, and now all of a sudden you can't restore whatever you had on the thing. So it's good there was new technology. Hey, are we done? Folks, we are done with canola harvest. I'm going to empty the combine one more time. And we're going to haul this up the hill. And unfortunately, this is the last bit. So probably isn't going to be enough to... Probably isn't going to be enough to pay our debt off all the way to 0. But I'm still pleased just how far we were able to get it. Alright. You know, maybe what I'll do with this... actually, you know what? I'm going to leave it sitting here. Top priority is, because we're at nighttime now, I think I'm going to roll this forward. I'm going to haul this up. We got 3... Oh, sorry, combine and tractor. Which y'all wanted to kiss, I'm sure. I'm going to take this up. We're going to get it sold. Oh, the tree tricks me out. I'll head down here to get to the gate. I'll get this sold so we can take advantage of great demand, and then we'll move our equipment over to the next field. I think I may just take it clear over to the pasture. That'll leave, now that we've got this field done, that leaves 3 fields of barley. 1 in the pasture, and then the 2 here, right kind of on the home place, a small field, and in the larger ones on a slope. I'm going to take care of this part first. But looking again at my game library, oh, I can't hardly talk and drive sometimes. The next one that I had here was another strategy war type game. It's also with the nation here. It's on the Revolutionary War. You know, when we got our freedom from what is now the UK. We, of course, were former colonies of them, and not just them. I think there was other nations that tried to settle into the area, but I think, you know, I think of the Revolutionary War, it was primarily Great Britain. But I know France and Spain, a lot of these places had their claims on it here, and well, we know how things turned out. You know, one of my friends, he's actually helped me test one of my mods, and I enjoy listening to his stories. I know I've mentioned him on here before. Maybe I've even mentioned this, but he really made me laugh one time when I was thanking him for helping me test a mod. He commented that he considered it was, you know, just part of his duty in looking after the colonies. So I wonder how many people in the UK, maybe my friend can even comment on it if he ever hears this episode, do Do they still consider us the colonies? Maybe they do. I wouldn't know. I just thought that was kind of fun. We are the colonies. So this other CD that has a game on it, I don't think I've ever even played it. You know, that'd be another interesting question. How many games do you have in your library, and how many of them have you actually played a substantive period of time? I have a handful of games that I've played a lot, and then I have a lot of other games that I've only marginally skirmished with. You know, maybe installed them, looked around in them a little bit, and for whatever reason it didn't catch my interest. And so, like the previous one I talked about Civil War, or I know I did spend that much time on it. I never got it fully completed, if you will. You know, went through a whole war, however you want to put it. I just kind of dabbled with it, got bored, moved on to something else. But this one here, I'm pretty sure it's called Birth of America. It not only has the Revolutionary War, I think it also has the French and Indian War. So it has two wars in there. I think you pick which one you want to do, and it's a typical strategy. You gather resources, try to fight a battle, try to win, try to maybe rewrite history. I think they let you play whatever side you want. So, yeah, you could even be another side, if you will, and see if you can make history come out different. But other than that, I don't really know much about it, so can't hardly really comment on it. Not that anybody cares to hoots anyhow. I know I don't. I'm not sure I even bought the thing. Like I say, I look at another one here, and look at my stack here. It's Flight Simulator. Well, I've never really been into flying type games. I know there's people that are very interested in it. And I mean, it has a price tag on here. It says it came from Walmart. It said it was bought in '07, but I don't believe I bought it. I think I have this vague memory that it came with another game somehow. Woo! You know, maybe I don't need to come through. I probably could have chosen a different way. Oh, get to talking and can't even remember what I'm supposed to be doing in game here. Taking you down to get ready to harvest barley. Over here. Yeah, I probably didn't need to come down through here, so I'm headed over to the pasture. Woo! That means I gotta take the combine through there again. Yeah, I need to do a little bit more modding to widen the entrance or that bridge back there. Actually, the bridge is probably okay. I think it's the rock walls that reach out and grab the combine header. So I need to do a little modding there. So I don't know where this flight simulator came from. It's Flight Simulator 04. Microsoft, I've heard that's a very good program, but to my knowledge, I've never installed it. I haven't a clue how it works. And, you know, I appreciate planes. Obviously, everybody does for the most part. But just isn't an area that's much of interest to me. My son has told me about it, and kind of like how Farming Simulator, you know, I choose most of the time when I play it in here to run it at real time. So, you know, we will fast forward it for oh, tricked out again. That's not the gate. I think it's that dark area I'm looking at over there. That I keep thinking that's where these double gates are, and it's not. Turning off the lights in here. You know, I think I'm gonna... Well, I don't need to do that, the main thing. I can fuel it up with sauce as we get over further to the field. But I just as well do it at the farm, because I've already purchased the fuel. It's sitting in the tanker. Hopefully there's still some more in there I can just fuel up while I'm here. and before I head back over. But my son was telling me, and I don't know if this is on more recent versions of Flight Simulator, but he said you can download Google Maps maybe, and you fly over real terrain. You fly into real airports around the world, depending on what area of the world you pick. And furthermore, it's also 100% real time. So if you want to simulate flying a jet plane from where I live in Oregon to, Chicago, Illinois or something, that's probably, what would that be, a 3.5 hour flight in real life? Well, your flight will take 3.5 hours on the computer. And, there's people that would look at a game like Farming Simulator and probably be bored off their rocker. And I know I've commented before, I just don't get bored in here. To me, farming is fascinating. I love it. And this is one place where I can get lots of it. And yeah, I just don't care what I'm doing. I mean, there's occasionally times I may get tired of a particular task, but sure isn't permanent. I'll come back to it again and again. And but the idea of flight simulator, like for a flight that goes from here to Chicago for that 3.5 hours, like what do you do? Uh, I guess I don't know what a pilot does, so maybe there's things he or she does. Oh, keep damaging this header. Need to do some modding there. And we're going to be right back over this way, so it's making us scrape it twice. To me, the interesting part of flying would be taking off the plane, taking off the ground, and landing. Why you'd want to sit up there in the middle of all that for 3.5 hours or 3 hours, whatever, doing nothing but whistling Dixie, um, that seems boring. But like I say, I'm not a pilot. I have no idea what they do mid-flight. Maybe someone can tell me. I mean, does Flight Simulator come with challenges to it? Are there, oh, you're stuck in a hurricane or something, or you need to pay attention to the weather radar, and so you keep yourself from going through a thunderstorm, to reduce turbulence. Um, do you have to? Well, I know there was another game I have somewhere in there, Airport Simulator, where you have to attract customers and all that jazz. But it's added Flight Simulator. You got to keep your passengers happy, while you're flying. Or can you do a barrel roll in your plane just for kicks and giggles, or does that get you in trouble with the FAA? I don't know. Just all sorts of things. Do you have to buy the plane? Do you set up a business? And I think I'm revealing kind of where my interest would be. Is I'd like to. I think it'd be more compelling to run an airline company and make a profit. But you know what? I think I'll just stick with Farming Simulator because I'm pretty happy with it. Where did I? Was it up here? Uh, there we go. Maybe I can sneak through this fence. Okay, I think I need to turn back on. Straw's not available. Yeah, of course it ain't. I guess I gotta take a little nip. Now I can, yeah, it'll blow it out as chaff. I think I'll change it. And I think that enables a straw swath because we're going to come back through here and get the straw. There we go. Wait a minute, what am I doing? What am I doing? There is a time when farmers must go nighty-night, sleep tight. So, let's see here. I got about, let me just see. Let me check some prices because I want to keep an eye on this. I was writing it down. I think, yeah, we're done with canola, but I gotta check good old pheasant. The barley's hanging tight, wheat is hanging tight, 191 to 234. I kind of think wheat in the past wasn't over 200. Barley seems like it's fallen a little bit. Let's just fast forward some time. I'll go ahead. All right, we're getting fruit growth. Uh-oh. Uh, hmm. Hopefully I don't have withering on. Otherwise, I'm going to be toast. I all of a sudden just realized, where was my map? Whew! I don't have withering on. Okay. We got this to harvest. We got this and this. It went to the final harvesting stage, but I think we are still good. Yes, sir. So, except I was going to look at prices. Okay, 194, it's kind of still hanging tight. Let's go a couple hours forward. Maybe it won't change it much in here. Ah, wheat's going up. I like, because I have a whale lot of wheat in storage. Let me go forward another hour. 197. We're heading the right way. 4 o'clock. 198. Yee. Ah, don't go down. Well, you know what? We're daylight again. Let's crank up the combine. We'll get it harvesting. Oh, shoot. Except I forgot to do something critical. You got to feed the beast. So I'll take it down here and get some fuel in it. My beloved little combine. Sneak. Yeah, sorry. Holding up traffic. There's our puppy. And of course, he incessantly barks the same way, so I'm going to step out. I don't think we hear him unless we're really close. Get a little bit of sauce. You know, the next game in my library here, I do have lots of fond memories of. Actually, I think I have two of them that are, it's Lost Vikings. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of that title. Lost Vikings 1 and 2. It's a puzzle type scroller arcade game, if you will. And the premise, I believe, as I understand it, just to remember, it's been a while since I played it. It's you got these three little Vikings who were captured from their home by an alien or something, taken onto a spaceship, and together they have to work together to go through all these levels of puzzles. And one of them's kind of a fat old guy, and Olaf the Stout, I think he's called, he has a shield that'll stop things thrown at him. You can stand on the shield. If he falls off of something, he can float with the shield gradually. Then there's Baliog the Swift, and he runs really, really fast, and he can bash things with his head. I think he can get rockets under his feet, and he can crush things up on top of him, or by bashing his head on it. And then there's, who's the other guy? I don't remember his name, but he shoots arrows. He wields a saber, sword, whatever. And all three of these, with their various talents, are useful in some ways in going through all these puzzles. I don't remember how many levels there were. 30 some. They get progressively difficult. You know kind of how that works. Okay, let's see. This was pasture. Get this at a pasture combi storage. Yeah, there we go. We're going to use course play on this one. I think it works. So, how about you head out there and this is going to do an abysmal job on the opening round because our combine is also going to do an abysmal job making it by this. let's just try to prevent tragedy from occurring and help the poor guy out. Actually, this longer header, we're able to reach up here further and get most of this, whereas with that little dinky header we had, we couldn't. Wow, I tell you what, this is pretty uneven ground. I'm having trouble pushing the header through here because we are farming fence post to fence post. Yeah, the smaller header was able to float a little better. Oh, here comes courseplay. And you're going to have trouble, courseplay. Nope, yep, I see what's coming. We're not going to let you do it. There's simply no room. We'll follow the combine, and as soon as it fills, yeah, I don't know if there's enough room to sneak around it up here. Ah, wow. Hang up on a fence. It's a thing to do when you're a combine. So, I know the original version of Lost Viking is one of the few games I can say that I played all the way through and got clear to the end. And because I'm pretty sure nobody's ever done this or ever will try it, I'll just be a spoiler and say how it turns out. As it turns out, it's all a figment of a boy's imagination who was playing with his spaceship and dreamt up this evil tomato monster that terrorized these little Vikings. And at the end of the game, after the Vikings win all the levels, this boy gets hauled off by his mother to go clean his room or something. Alright, we're pausing here. Opening around. Bring the tractor over, offload you. So, some of the upper levels, they got quite difficult. You know, and it's one of those where, first off, you had to figure out how to pass the level. So, eventually you figured that part out. You know, what specific thing you had to do with each particular character in order to pass a level. But then, some of them were so difficult, it required flawless motor skills of your fingers, you know, running, this was all keyboard driven, you know, to get it to work. And that was a hard part. I mean, I'm not a highfalutin gamer by any means, and so a lot of times, I mean, you'd repeat the same level over and over and over. And the developers of this particular game had a good sense of humor. I noticed on some of them, if you did the level too many times, they they started insulting you, the players, like, really, we're dying in here, you know, can't you do a better job? And that was just kind of funny. So, like I say, there was two versions. I have both versions in my library. It's been a long time since I've done it. There probably a lot of these, you know, that I've mentioned are freeware anymore, for all I know. It's just, I think the company shoots its shot, tries to sell it, and get what revenue they can. And you know, I call it freeware. I don't know if it is in fact. I know there's websites out there where you can pick up these games for nothing. So it's either available for free or it's basically worthless, and even if it's copyrighted, the game makers just don't pursue it. You know, they try to take these sides down. And, I mean, the next one that I look at here, it's called In Fisherman Freshwater Trophies. Now, this one here, I have played 0. I kind of think I have it here for my boys. Back in the day, they played it a number of times. They're obsessed with fishing, and so a lot of evenings they could be found playing on it. So I don't even know how the thing works. It looked like it had all sorts of bells and whistles to catch the trophy bass, lunker walleyes, and monster muskies they have here. So I don't know when this one was made. You know, and as I open it up here, it looks like it must have come from the same company that made a John Deere American Farmer, because I have that one too somewheres. And it's just kind of on the same, maybe it's the same company that made it. Who knows? It's, you know, as we pick these things up over time, is this where a lot of us just simply waste money? You know, I stopped myself, I have to admit this, today. There was, I have a couple games on Steam, kind of. I mean, I have them, but I've never done anything with them. And today I was tempted to buy a couple more because they were on sale. You know, nothing like a sale and they got a game, you know, they'll give you for $8.99 or whatever. Well, you'd much rather pay that than you would 30 or 40 or 50, you know, to get it. But I managed to stop myself just by asking, it's like, when are you going to have time to play this? I mean, will you ever? Will you turn it on just once and then decide it's not for you and now you've wasted even this little bit of money? So I said, you know what? I'm not going to do it. So I didn't. And because, if I'm honest, the one I'm doing right now is the only one I want to do, or this genre. So, yeah, I really don't know that I'll have time for other ones. My, oh, we're going to have trouble. We're going to have trouble. Let's get you out of this corner. I don't think you can turn around in here decent. Hate driving into the crop. Alright, drive now. But it's what we need to do. We'll get them over into storage with the barley. Actually, let me check the prices. 196. Yeah, wheat's coming down. Hang in there, wheat. You got a ways to go up. Barley's kind of hanging tight. We'll keep working on it. So anyway, you know what? I'm at the end of another half hour. I really need to go to bed. Got one more day of work here, and then we're heading off to a family vacation. I don't anticipate doing any recording there, so maybe for once I can just sit down and play this game instead of trying to talk and bore the two people that stop by here to listen to this with some regularity. So, you know, with that, I'll let you go. Thank you for those two people or whoever you are that stop by here to listen. I have no idea why you would spend your time listening to little old me, but that's very nice of you. Hold on, we don't need to kiss the combine. How about the tractor made a romantic overture to the combine, and the combine is in retreat. Gotta watch these kids. Wrong species there, pal. Yeah, we'll need to let it go. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye for now.